All right, good morning, Benjamin Hadfield, Stuart Scuba.
And Peter Friedman from Stuart Scuba. And of course we have John, our Blue Man group, who's here to help us talk about masks.
Absolutely, it's nice having a dummy other than myself running around the shop to go ahead and help explain the basics of this. So we thought we'd talk masks today. We get a lot of questions about clear skirts, dual frames, full frames, clouded skirts, and even the dreaded FFM. So, Peter, what's your preference? What do you dive?
Well, you know what? I happen to dive a single frame. I dive a mask like this, except it has a black skirt. All thing about masks is it doesn't matter what it looks like, it matters how it fits your face. And that's the important thing. It's all about fit, and then you go for look and whatever else you're looking for in the mask.
Absolutely.
Mask doesn't fit, it's going to leak, and that's going to be an issue. Absolutely.
And so a lot of people come in, which they think best is better. So years ago, when I first got into diving, there was a new mask came out, and it had a really cool name that sounded like it was something from Spider-Man, and it looked cool as well. And I felt for sure I had to have this mask. Retail on that was $250, but I ordered it out. I paid retail. It was the only mask I've ever paid retail for since I've been in the dive industry. Got it in, I got 3 dives on it. It sits on my shelf because it's the worst mask I personally own. And I went home and I ended up buying back over to my local dive shop, and I bought something like this. And by the way, this one retails for a whopping $65. And it fit better. It lasted for years until I finally, something happened to it. It broke in my bag as well.
So with masks, and we're talking about fit, the thing to remember is the best way to check a mask, see how it fits your face, is to forget about the strap, just put the mask to your face, suck in through your nose, hold your breath for a second, and it should stick. You don't want to suck hard enough to suck your eyeballs out, because that's frowned upon in many circles. But you do want to make sure it's a good fit. And where masks are going to leak, they'll leak from the creases around your eyes, if you have a mustache, it'll leak from there, might leak from the creases around your nose. And that's what you're checking, and you're checking to make sure it sticks and it's a good fit.
Absolutely. My other preference is I tend to like a clear skirted mask because I like the peripheral vision, especially if I'm diving dark or night or deep. Something like that, I like being able to see where my buddy's flashlight's at and where it's at. A lot of times if I get on a bright day and a bright reef, to keep me a little more focused, I'll go with a dark skirted mask because it kills out my peripheral vision. It makes me focus on one thing at a time, and I don't turn into the ADD squirrel.
So, one of the things about night dives, and I'm going to disagree with Ben on something he just said, but we disagree on a lot, and that's okay. I think a clear skirted mask on a night dive is an issue, because if somebody comes behind you and is shining their flashlight, all you're going to see is your eyeballs. On a clear skirt, light from the side will act like a mirror. The glass will act like a mirror. It's kind of like when it's dark out and you're in your house and you look out the window and all you do is see your own reflection. And that can happen with those too. But as I said in the beginning, this is all about personal choices.
Yep. And here's the crazy thing is you can disagree with somebody next to you and you can still be friends. It works for him better to have a dark skirted mask at night. I prefer for low vis and night to do a clear skirted mask.
Absolutely.
Now the other one that we get questions on is the FFM. I am a huge fan of FFM for several reasons. Bigger field of view, easier breathing, very comfortable. You can add a comm unit. Ours, we've got comm units on this with a push to talk. You can add a wired communication to it. And it's just a very comfortable dive. And if you diving where you want better visibility, like you're doing photography, great solution, absolutely. If you're diving anything cold, much warmer as well, just a fantastic way to go. Downside, in my opinion, is you are filling a lot larger volume air. So you will need to go have a larger tank or be prepared. You're going to reduce your sac rate by about 10, 11% in that area.
Because these masks are also positive pressure. So there's always some air coming into your face, which keeps the water out and keeps the mask from fogging up.
Absolutely, and that's one of the other things is you don't spray these masks. Now, all these masks, you definitely treat them, clear out that plastic in the inside, and you spray them beforehand. This mask, do not treat this mask. You will ruin it. And don't spray it because that's a big pain. All the air comes in right there across the shield of the mask, and it keeps it clear. And it's pretty easy to clear as well. You just simply push your purge button, and simple enough, it purges right along. It's not a big deal. It's very comfortable to wear. It does have a surface air valve as well. So while you're at the surface, you just open the valve up, and you're breathing off the God's free air instead of the purchased air in your tank. And once you go down, you'll definitely want to make sure you close that, because that spritz right across your eyes, and it's not as much as you might think it is.
The other thing is, the reason I'm not an over fan on these masks with the comm unit, I don't want to talk to anybody. I dive for peace and quiet. I don't want to talk to anyone. If I do, I use hand signals.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is my wife and I purchased a pair, and this is actually my personal one, and the one Peter had is my wife's personal one as well, that we just keep here in the shop for people to be able to check out. And I have yellow, she has pink, they come in green and black as well. But over the years of diving these with the comm units, we've used the comm units all of one time. My wife and I dive enough together that we have created a very large vocabulary of hand and arm signals that we don't need to really talk. I can signal over to her to tell her, hey, you and me, let's go to the boat, and we're out of there, right? And so it's not as big a deal as you might think, but there have been a few times, and the one time we did use it, we were doing some search stuff. So it was nice to be able to communicate with her when she was just out of sight where I couldn't quite see her.
You know, there are right tools for whatever you're doing, and I joke around a lot, and I'm kidding Ben a lot, but absolutely. So, bottom line, not about what a mask looks like, it's about how it fits your face.
Absolutely. Come down into Stuart Scuba. We make take a huge amount of pride in making sure to get you the right mask for the right job. We never look at the price tag. We always look at the fit and the comfort. We want to make sure you get the right tool for the right job that's going to make your diving adventures oh so much better, because diving is amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Again,
you got to be able to see where you're going.
Yeah. Seeing is reasonably important. It's not critical for diving, but it's very important because it makes it a lot more enjoyable sport. So again, Benjamin Hadfield with Stuart Scuba
and Peter from Stuart Scuba.
You make sure you have a great dive adventure. Make sure to come see us and come do a dive with us.
Absolutely.